Hello and welcome to FPL Malbo. My name is Andy. I've got my team selection video ahead of game week 33 for you today. I didn't get to record a video last week, so I'll take you through how I did in the last couple of game weeks, and then we'll have a look at my transfer plans ahead of game week 33. I'll also go through some of the best players for the double in 34. I'll put timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip through the stuff about my team, feel free to do that. But if you're sticking with me for the whole thing, then let's jump straight into it. So, game week 31 was a bit of a weird game week. I scored 67 points. It was a slight green arrow for me. I think about 8 or 9k, something like that. If you told me that Saka didn't play, that Haaland didn't play, that Salah as my captain got a 1-pointer taken off after 59 minutes, thanks for that one, Klopp. Yeah, and I still got a green arrow, then I would be absolutely over the moon with that. So I ended up having all 5 of my defenders playing. Maguire managed to get 0 points despite actually playing in that match. So I'm glad that he got also subbed in. 2 points from Pedro Porro, 2 from Branthwaite. A surprise clean sheet, I guess, for Sabani. Not that I didn't think the Bournemouth were capable of one. It's just that they've had very few. They've had none since I brought him into my team as well. So yeah, that was a little surprise and a bonus is nice. And then double Arsenal defense. I keep saying that if I was picking again, I would have double Arsenal attack and just one of the defenders, but actually it's worked out pretty well for me. They just keep getting clean sheets, and you've got a little bit of goal threat as well from Gabriel. So yeah, 6 points a piece from them was pretty pleasing. And then the midfield, Salah I've already mentioned as my captain, but Garnacho and Palmer were really the two in that United Chelsea game that absolutely saved my game week, particularly because I'd sold Phil Foden the game week before, obviously hitting a hat trick for City. I knew he was capable of that. Over the 3 game weeks, though, the decision has paid off to bring in Palmer instead of him. Plus, he is cheaper, so sometimes you just have to live with those ones. Like, of course, Foden's a great player and he's been in phenomenal form all season, but you have to make sacrifices somewhere. And yeah, like I say, over the few weeks, it's paid off. The transfer that I made was Darwin in for Ollie Watkins. Just a 6-pointer from him. I'll say just a 6-pointer because I was kind of hoping that he might go big in that game, but yeah, I'll take it. The reason that I pulled the trigger on that move was because Watkins was ruled out, and my first bench option was Gordon, who was suspended. I think if I had a bench option, I would have considered just holding him, but I didn't. So, and because I ended up using all of my bench because, like I say, Saka and Haaland not playing, yeah, I guess it kind of paid off. And then Solanke, just 2 points from him. It's been a touch off it recently, but I'll certainly be holding him until the double game week in 34, and then we can assess it again after that. And then last game week, 75 points. It was a decent green arrow as well, moved me up to 54,000. Yeah, it's much closer to where I want to be. I was having a look the other day. It's not a huge gap either between sort of 20k, where I'm ideally hoping to finish, and 50 odd k. So you're looking at about 25, 30 points. So yeah, still catchable. But yeah, onto the team, that double Arsenal defense again with a clean sheet, so 6 points apiece each from Raya and Gabriel. Branthwaite with a 6-pointer for clean sheet again from Everton, but Pedro Porro was the real star for me. I've held on to him for a long time, and Tottenham aren't keeping clean sheets, so it's been a hard sell, I think. But I keep feeling like he's been getting into really good positions. He's still taking free kicks and corners, even with Maddison. He's just kind of sharing them with him. And yeah, I must have said it 10 times that I felt like a goal was coming for him. Well, finally he got his goal. It was kind of a scuff shot, which took a deflection. But look, you pick defenders who get into great positions all the time, and yeah, you kind of deserve a little bit of that luck, I think. Going on to the midfield, Gordon, one of the only people who blanked in my team, and it sounded like he was really threatening in that Newcastle match. So yeah, hopefully the returns will be back for him next week. Salah with 8 points, Saka with 10 points, and Cole Palmer, just an assist from him, and it wasn't much of an assist either. He just gave the ball to Madueke and he scored a great goal. But we'll take it. I think I would have been really disappointed if Palmer had blanks, considering the amount of point scorers I had in my team. But even though it's a small return and I had better returns, on the pitch, it's still your captain returning. I'm always relatively happy with that. And then strikers, Solanke, nothing from him again. Darwin, just an assist from him for 5 points, and Haaland with 8 points, thanks to his goal. So, yeah, overall, really pleased with it. I had Dubravka on the bench who outscored Raya, but not too disappointed because I still got the clean sheet from Raya. Yeah, didn't make any transfers either, so it means that I've got 2 free transfers going into next week. The team looks really strong, but I've got one eye on double game week 34. So my transfers are all really aimed into that. I'm pretty much 100% pulling the wild card on game week 35. So it doesn't matter if I just bring people in for the real short term because I'm going to be getting rid of them, after 30, 34 if I don't want them for the long term. So let's have a look at the team. I'll tell you what my plans are and who I think the best players to own going into that double game week 34 is. So I'll take you through the team and I'll tell you who I'm considering selling. I really like this team, I've got to say. For a start, everybody plays at home apart from Pedro Porro, who is probably the most attacking, fully fit defender in the game at the minute. So in goal, I'm going to go Raya. I don't fancy a clean sheet actually for either um, Arsenal or Newcastle, who have Tottenham at home. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Raya over Dubravka because that Arsenal defense has been superb this season. Although Villa scoring most goal games, if anyone's going to keep a clean sheet, it'll be Arsenal. So yeah, the double Arsenal defense is staying, and they will be staying ahead of the double as well, obviously because they have a double. Sabani, in an ideal world, I would like to get a better defender for the double. I don't fancy Bournemouth's chances of clean sheet really in either game, but he is a good backup option if needed because, of course, he does double. So he'll be staying. He'll also be playing this week against Man United, whose attack has been hot and cold. Like, I'm not saying I think a clean sheet is incredibly likely, but I think there's a chance there. And then Pedro Porro, only person who's playing away, but yeah, so attacking, so don't mind him starting. Now, Pedro Porro, I could consider selling. I think in my original plan, I was looking at getting Trent in, and I would have to get rid of Pedro Porro if I was looking to get somebody that expensive. I would prefer to hold on to him, even though he blanks in game week 34, mainly because I picked him up quite cheap. I think he's gone up about 0.6, 0.7 million since I got him. And I'm not saying I will definitely want him on a wild card, but I think I will probably want him on a wild card. So to get rid of him and then get him back 1 week later at a considerably higher price doesn't seem worth it to me. So the defender that I'd really like to get rid of is Harry Maguire. Branthwaite also doubles in game week 34, so I'd like to hold on to him. He's also got slightly better fixtures, I think, Everton than Bournemouth, so he's the one that I'm likely to play. Harry Maguire, I think, is actually a good option. I might bring him back in on my wild card, but he's the same price that he was when I bought him, 4.2 million. So I don't mind getting rid of Maguire and then just getting him back on the wild card. That's my preferred option and might be the transfer that I do this week. If we go on to the midfield, I've got Gordon, Salah, Saka, and Palmer. They're all playing at home. Yes, Gordon against Tottenham. Tottenham are a decent team, but they do often concede. They don't keep a lot of clean sheets. Villa are also a good team, but you think that Arsenal will score in that game. And then Salah and Palmer, both really good captaincy options. I'm really, really undecided on the captain. I'll talk through that at the end. The players that I'm looking at getting rid of for the double are probably Garnacho and Gordon. I could get rid of Palmer, but again, he's gone up in price and I want him on the wild card. So just to preserve that value, he might as well be the one that I bench. But I would like to bring in 2 double game week players for Garnacho and Gordon. Now, I could get rid of Gordon this week and bring in a midfielder. I could have spent a bit more money on a midfielder as well, but it would leave me a slight benching headache. All my strikers play at home as well. Darwin against Crystal Palace, Haaland against Luton, Solanke against Man United. So, yeah, Garnacho I'm considering selling this week. Harry Maguire I'm considering selling this week. If I was to sell Garnacho, the options I think are I've got two Liverpool players and I want a third for the double. Now, do I want to triple up on the attack or do I want a defender? Either way, I could bring them in this week. So I could bring in. I was looking at Trent originally, but I don't think I'm going to take the risk on his fitness, even if he plays this week. Is Klopp going to play him, 90 minutes, two games in 3 weeks? Sorry, in 3 days. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to rush him back that much. So I don't think he's worth the risk. I think the only defender really worth bringing in now that is guaranteed minutes is Van Dijk. I don't find that particularly exciting. And Luis Diaz has been playing well recently, so I might have changed my mind on the Liverpool defender, and it might be a midfielder that I go for. I could bring in Luis Diaz this week, and I would probably bench Solanke. Not totally sold on that. I think Solanke against a United defence that is just ravaged by injuries has got a real chance of a goal there. So not totally sold, but it is an option. The other one, like I say, is Harry Maguire that I would get rid of. Although Gordon, I'm looking at selling for the double game week. I don't think I would sell him this week. He's just so consistent at home. It doesn't matter who they play. I want Gordon in my team at home. For Maguire, though, like I say, I've got the option of Van Dijk, but I'm going away from that and I'm thinking of tripling up on the attack. So I think you've got a couple of options as defenders. You could look at Crystal Palace because they've probably got the easiest fixtures. I don't think there's a standout option. I think probably the new right back has the slight like attacking potential. But no Crystal Palace defenders really have shone, I think, this season. The one that I really like is Nori from Wolves. I think they've got a decent fixtures in the double, and he's been playing either as a really attacking wing back or he actually started as part of the front three last week, mainly because Wolves have got so many injuries in attacking positions. Um, if I knew that Nori was fully fit, he went off with an injury. Didn't look to be that serious, but he's yellow flagged at the moment. If I knew he was fit, I think that would be the change that I would make this week. And it'd be Harry Maguire that'd be sold. So I am waiting to hear if there's any injury update on that. And it means as well that I would probably look next week at getting rid of Gordon and Garnacho. And I would be looking at bringing in probably one of Eze or Elise as well into midfield, as well as bringing in Luis Diaz. But there are things that could change my mind on that, like Jota coming back to fitness. Absolutely no idea when he's likely to be back, but he could potentially be a risk to Diaz's minute. So yeah, that is something I'd consider. And Elise and Eze, I've said for a while that I prefer Elise, but he's not played very much football recently because of injuries. So the safer bet I think is to go for Eze. We'll see. I like the look of both of them though. They're the best players in that team. Mateta I think is a good option as well up front if you're looking for a cheaper striker. But I've got two doublers and Haaland. Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with those. I think for the double game week. So yeah, this week is a tough decision. I think it'll be down to fitness news, which will help me make it, and I'll probably leave it quite late to the deadline. And then finally on captaincy, at the moment I've got down Haaland against Luton. Haaland has been off it in terms of form, and I think Salah has as well. Even though those two have got the two easiest fixtures, I'm still slightly tempted to go Cole Palmer again, who has just been brilliant recently, particularly at home. I captained him last week, didn't really come off for me. I'm still tempted to just do it again. I think there's some doubts over whether Haaland starts. My inkling is that he does. I think he looks like somebody who just needs. I think Pep would be so happy if Haaland started and got himself a hat trick or just something just to kind of shut up the media a little bit and some of the fan base. Because yeah, he's going through a slightly bad patch. He's still scoring a goal every other game in a slightly bad patch. So I don't think he's anything to be too concerned about. Plus, the last time they played him in the cup, he scored 5. So it's hard to go against Haaland, but I might do. Again, if I get any sort of inkling of team news, I'll wait for the press conferences as well. See if I get anything in there that gives me any kind of clue. At the moment, it's on Haaland. The vice is currently on Salah, but Palmer's the one that I'm really tempted by. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about captaincy decision this week and what you think about my potential transfers. Usually, I lay it out a lot more concise. I've got sort of clear options, but I think because I'm planning into the double, I feel like the next 3 transfers are all kind of linked, and what I decide on one of them will knock onto the others, and I'm being very indecisive about it. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Give me some advice, guys. So that's it for my team selection video ahead of game week 33. If you've enjoyed these videos, if you're watching along to them, then please subscribe and give it a like. Always appreciate that. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on another video.